Yo, what up? I don't know. I know this video right here doesn't have much to do with, my channel and stuff. I don't tell stories on my channel very often. There was that one story I was telling about that, that chat line thing. Truth be told, I kind of had fun telling that little story. I'm just sitting out here. I randomly woke up at like 4 in the morning, and I just couldn't go back to sleep, so I came outside, just kind of hung out and chilled, and here it is. I don't even know what time it is now, but the sun's starting to come out now. It's morning. And, just sitting out here quiet, all by myself and thinking, when people do that kind of stuff, they just tend to think. I was thinking about nothing in particular. Nothing bad, nothing good. Just old thoughts running through my head. Even right now as I film this video, it's, kind of the same thing. Half the reason why I'm filming the video is so I don't feel like an idiot while I'm talking a lot to myself, reliving my own memories. I have a reason for doing it so I don't look like I'm talking to myself. Anywho, I don't know. I figured I'd just say a little story just for the hell of it. I know I'm not got too many people watching my YouTube channel, but hey, who knows? Maybe somebody will watch this. It's just a little story about, I had an interesting, life growing up when I was younger and, trying to get girlfriends and junk like that. Truth be told, I never had a serious relationship with a girl. I was never seriously dating anybody to the point that I would say, I had a real full-fledged girlfriend. There was middle school stuff, which... Oops, sorry, hold on, drop. Which doesn't really count, how middle school things go. People just say their boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe give each other a little smooch. It's like that. I don't know if you even call that dating each other. I guess some people do. Back in middle school, we did at least. But all throughout high school, I never really, dated anybody. I was, truth be told, more in the party back in those days. There's a couple girls I had my eye on, but, I never actually full-fledged dated anybody. Nothing serious, at least, anyway. But, yeah. So, anyway, I had girlfriends later on in a little bit of life, shortly after I, was done with high school. Now, keep in mind, I was done at 17. Anywho, that's not what I'm talking about today. But, like I said, I didn't have the best luck with girls growing up. And there's a story in particular I just felt like bringing up, just for the fuck of it. I was in middle school at the time. How old was I? I think I was in 6th grade. Now, I did stay back in kindergarten, so I wasn't the same age as all the kids. I was older than them for that reason. So at the time, how old was I? Let me think. I think I was 11, maybe 12. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, I was in 6th grade, and a lot of boys and girls start to notice each other at that age, middle school. Which is middle school for us. I know middle school isn't that age for everybody. Some people, I get to 7th grade, but first it's 6th. So, anyway, around that time, people start to notice things, especially, me, going into 6th grade and that. I had girls that I thought were pretty that were in my own grade. Then, of course, there was, the girls that were older than me in 7th and 8th grade, which, at that point, they were developing, boobs and all that kind of stuff, which me, I was loving that. And, what kid wouldn't? So I knew my place. I was still a little kid, and these girls that I was eyeballing were kind of were they were 13, 12, teenagers at that point, little kids. So even though to me I thought nothing ever looked that good in my life and everything, because I'm used to other girls that didn't have that stuff yet. So this is my first time really looking at stuff. So it's safe to say that I was a horny little kid back in those days. But again, what kid around that age really wasn't? Whether they it would have been weird if you weren't into girls, when you were in that situation. So, there was this girl that I had in my homeroom that I had, and a couple classes, because I don't know how middle school works for everybody, but for us, at least, middle school was similar to the way high school was. You go from class to class, you go to homeroom, and so on and so forth. I don't know if every middle school is that way, like I said, but for us, that's the way it was. So she was girls in my homeroom, and I think she was in a couple of my classes. I can't remember all of them, but primarily homeroom. So I used to see her at the beginning and end of every day, regardless of what classes we had. I don't know how they determined all that. I think it was random. Maybe it was by her birthdays, or I don't know, last names. I don't know how they determined it, because this girl's last name starts with an R, and my last name starts with a C. So I don't think it has nothing to do with my last name, or maybe, I don't know. I'm getting off topic here, but anywho, I had a crush on her and everything like that, And like I said, I dated a couple girls in middle school, which, like I said, nothing really dating. It was a stupid shit bitch that, we said we liked each other, we had a girlfriend, or I have a boyfriend, that's just so we could say shit like that to each other and all of our friends, just so we could brag about it. We maybe smooch in the halls, but, like I said, in middle school, not much goes on with that. At most, we'd hang out at each other's houses. Like, I never did anything, like, really serious at a young age. Like, the most I would date. Hopefully this video comes out fine, by the way. I just wanted to point this out. For some reason, as I'm recording it, it keeps freezing on me as I'm recording it. Now, I don't know if it's going to play back the same way, but you might see me randomly freezing. Makes it almost look like I'm live streaming it, but this thing wouldn't let me live stream it, which is why I got to record ahead of time. Sorry, again, off topic. But anyway, so I asked the girl out and everything, said, hey, I like you, want you to be my girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. And she said, no, I don't like you like that, I like you, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, keep in mind, like, I wasn't considered, like, a loser back in the middle. I should say, I kind of got along with both sides. The kids that were considered, like, stupid and no one liked them very much, I got along fine with them. And then kids were cooler, I was got along fine with them. Because keep in mind, I was in what you call semi-special ed. Like, some classes were special ed for me, and some were in some subjects, and then other classes were regular. And the same happened in high school, common amongst kids that were in those groups. But in middle school, it's still a small amount of people. Now, the kids that were in special ed, a lot of them, like, were in there all day long. For me, it was certain classes. But there was other kids that were, like, that was where they always were then. So, of course, those kids were deteamed. I don't know what the word I want to use. Like, people thought they were stupid, they were dumb, they didn't like them, all that kind of stuff. But I went to class with a couple of those kids, so I knew differently. I got to know them personally, like a lot of the kids in the school didn't. So I realized they weren't bad people. Anyway, again, I'm off topic. I don't know. So anyway, so I asked around about her and everything, because, even though she turned me down, and, I still didn't stop me from thinking that she was pretty and shit like that. And, being a horny little boy there, anything, I wouldn't go as far as say I was obsessed over her, but, like, I had my eyes on her, and then, she was in my thoughts for a little while there. Even after she rejected me, I still, wanted to. Sorry, I just gotta pick this up real quick. Nothing special, just power bank. But, so, yeah, she left mine, and eventually I came across her phone number. I forgot where I got it from. If I remember correctly, I think, because, like I said, I went to, like, I don't know, where you want to call, like, I guess you want to say stupid people, middle people, and then the cool kids or whatever. I don't know if that's a good way of putting it, but, I was, like I said, I was in the middle, so. Now, she was considered, like, I guess she considered herself high class, or whatever you want to call it. She was considered, like, to be, one of the prettier girls, one of the more popular ones that, like, people, like, the popular kids, or whatever you want to call it. She hung out with that crowd. Friends of mine was also friends with her, because, like I said, I had friends, mainly girls, that would hang out with her, that would get considered part of the popular crowd, or whatever like that. And, they're friends with me as well, too, and everything. I think that's where I got the number from. I really don't remember. That's, again, besides the point. So I had it for a little while, held on to it. Situational loan, I would just, see her when I would see her, and, kind of just, I guess you said, drool over, or whatever word you want to use, just see her, oh boy, oh, I love that girl, she's so hot, stupid thoughts you have when you're, like, an 11-year-old 6th grader. Sorry. So eventually one day, I couldn't help myself. I grew some balls, and I decided I'm going to call her house. But I had to think to myself, okay, I gotta plan this out, though. Am I just gonna randomly call and just try talking to her? And, what if she like, just bugs because I showed her down? Like, if I could get a reason to get her on the phone, talk to her, like, nicely, and then maybe I can, start small talk and just go from there, and maybe we can at least, like, I could turn her opinion around about me. Maybe she'll, like me better, maybe want to be a friend, something. So I call her house. Plan is, I'm gonna call her and ask her about the homework that we had in some class. I'm gonna pretend like, I didn't know what it was, I oh my god, I don't want to fail, blah, blah, blah. Oh, can you give me a hand with this one? I don't know what it means, stupid shit like that. That was my original plan. So I call up, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Her dad answers. Hello. Hello. No, who is this? No. My name's, I'm looking to talk to Heather. So, oh yeah, hold on. So he goes off, gets her. Hear the phone kind of rustling around, this is back before cell phones, of course. Everyone just had house phones back in those days. I'm not that old, but, still, you got to remember, like, back in the 90s, again, cell phones just came out, and not everybody had them, which wasn't that long ago. I guess for some of you it was, but, I don't know, it doesn't seem that with me. Anywho, so she gets on the phone, and I was like, hello? Like, sorry, I know, it's being funny with the actor voices. So, who is this? And I'm like, hey, what's up? It's Eric. And before I should say another word, I hear her kind of like, arguing in the background with like her dad or somebody, and just talking. I don't know what the hell she's saying. I hear her like yelling something, and hear him like saying something. Next thing I know, he's back on the phone again. Hello? Hello? So I was confused. He was confused. So who's this? My name's Eric. I was trying to talk to Heather. Oh, okay. So we're both confused. Me and her dad both. We don't, like, he doesn't understand why he's handing the phone back to him. He doesn't, understand why she won't take it. The whole thing's just becoming a big, confusion, I guess. Now, apparently, from what I've recollected of the situation, I guess she was telling her parent that she didn't want to talk to me and everything. Her dad was just, I guess he was cooler about it, if it's the way to put it. He looked at his daughter growing up, boys calling her now. I don't know the way he was looking at it, but he didn't, he didn't say anything to me. He didn't bug out, nothing like that. But anywho, instead of Heather getting back on the phone, her mother's there, and she answers the phone. It's beginning like, hello, who is this? And again, I say my name. I say, hey, my name's Eric. I go to school with Heather. I'm in the same class as her and everything. And I explained to her that I'm trying to, find out the, page you got to do for homework and junk like that. And explain to why I'm calling and junk. Because she's asking me, why are you calling my house? So I made sense of the situation. So, she'd understand, why somebody's calling asking for her daughter's age. Because, while somebody calling her 11-year-old daughter or 12, however old she was, unless they were the same age, which I was. So I was hoping that would, make the situation a little better. But yeah, I guess, Heather told her she didn't want to talk to me, or I don't know what she said exactly, but her mother just replied with, oh, I'm sorry, well, we don't know what you got to do for homework, and can you please not call here anymore? Okay. So she hangs up, I hang up, and I thought that was it. Next day at school, I end up seeing her. She didn't mention it. I don't mention it. And that went on like that. I think maybe 2 or 3 days. I think about it. Well, keep in mind, we didn't talk during this time, We barely talked, looked, spoke, whatever. I just noticed that. What the hell is that shit? I got like a scab and things. See, I've always had this weird lump on my head, which I don't know what that's from. I don't even know what the hell this thing even is exactly. If anybody knows out there that happens to be watching this, I know this is completely random, but I've always had this thing like on my forehead. I don't know what it is, and every so often, like bleeding. It feels like almost it's like a giant zit, I guess you can say, but it's not, obviously, because it's been there for ever and it never goes away. But it's soft, it's not hard or anything. It's tough to explain. I don't know what the hell it is or why it's there, or if it's something I should be concerned with, but it's been there for several years. I'm guessing it's just a mole, maybe? It's never grown any bigger or nothing like that. Well, I guess it has a little bit as I've grown bigger. Anyway, back to the story real quick. Sorry, I almost missed on the best part of this. I'm sorry, I know I keep getting sidetracked. I don't know if anybody's still watching this, but if you are, I know. Here's the grand finale. So, with about 3 words, like I said, not speaking or anything, after her mom, bugged out. Apparently, there was some plot going on behind my back. My own dad even knew about it. And he didn't say nothing to me. No, the plot was, which I'm about to tell you, is, okay, I'm sitting, chilling in my bed, in my living room, or my bedroom, I can't remember, I'm at my house. Next thing you know, sorry, I saw a cat randomly walk by. Anyway, I heard boom, 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 knock, knock, knock. No, I'm just, I'm not paying much to it. I'm a little kid, I live there with my dad, my dad's closer to the door anyway, so I don't answer what my dad does. My dad calls me over. It says it's for me. So I get up. I assume it's one of my friends because I used to ride pedal bike a lot back in those days, and we would drive our bikes to our friends' houses a lot. And there was it's common. I live in a small town, so I don't know where you guys live out there, and if that's common for you, if it was common. But even still to this day, it's very common for kids to ride around on their bikes where I live. It's like I said, a small town. I live in Connecticut and everything. It's just a small little town. There's a bunch of towns like this out here. Being a small state and everything, there's a couple cities, but it's places like this. Just to give you a quick glimpse, here's, my yard outside. I don't know how well you guys can see that. There's some woods over here, and yeah, just to give you an idea. Anywho, so go to the door. Cops are there. And, I'm dumbfounded. I'm just a little kid in middle school. I don't know why the cops want to talk to me. So I'm already kind of, I guess you'd say nervous. And so I walk up to him, and they ask me to step outside. So I do. Now, like I said, my dad already apparently knew why he was there. But he didn't mention he was coming or anything. Because I don't know, again, what was my back. But apparently it was the point they got my dad in on it. So I go outside with him, and then he asked me, oh, how you doing? How's school and everything? I'm doing okay. I still don't understand what I said. Then he finally says it to me. And then he's like, you know a girl named Heather Revere? Well, I probably shouldn't have said her name right there. But it's not like anybody's going to know where the hell she is. I didn't say what town I lived in. but this girl's name was Heather Riviera, fuck it. Um, and I say to her, yeah, I go to class with her. And so basically, he says like, oh, you've been calling her lately, haven't you? And so I explained to him, the story I said before, that I called her. And keep in mind, I only called her one time. More than this, it was legitimately just one time I called her. And it was just, and you know how well that went. That's basically why I didn't call a second time, because the first time was such a disaster. I didn't even bother attempting anything like that again, at least with her anyways. So I explained that to him, and he just basically, I don't know if he listened to me, believed me, or how he felt about it, but basically says like, well, I don't know what happened, and blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, but basically he's telling me I'm harassing her. No, he's not necessarily accusing me of this. He's like more or less saying like, this is what's in the report, that I'm harassing her, I'm bothering her, and yes, if I got a crush on her, I explained to him, yeah, I like her, I think she's a pretty girl and everything. He's like, well, do you talk to her, do you like, gross things to her, stuff like that? I'm like, no. Like one time I asked her if she wanted to go out with me, be my girlfriend and everything, and one time I did try calling her at her house, and then I was very shy and nervous about it, and I explained to him what I was planning on going with that, but I never got to that point. And then so we wrote it all down, and he said, just, which at that point I was already calling, don't worry, I'm already like, to the point that I call her one time and a cop comes to my house, and yeah, of course I'm not going to, I was mad at her at that point, even though I thought she was pretty. That was besides the point. Any crush I had her at that point went straight out the fucking window. But I guess you could say after that incident in particular, it kind of gave me, I guess you could almost say PSTD, I guess, towards this stuff. That's part of the reason why I would say it took me so long to find a steady girlfriend. Like, by the time I had a real, actual girlfriend, I was, at that point, I was technically an adult because I dropped out at 17 and everything. That's when I first met this girl, Christina, that I started dating under a serious relationship. Before that, there wasn't nothing. Like, just little things here or there. But because of that incident, it almost made me afraid to talk to girls. Like, I wanted to still talk to them, and I felt like confidence at the time. But I never, being turned down is one thing. Guys can handle shit like that. If you can't handle being turned down, you're just straight up a bitch. But in my situation, it wasn't about being turned down. I straight up had a girl call the police on me for, nothing, just letting her that I liked her. I didn't even do anything. I never touched her. I never said anything inappropriate to her, nothing like that. I asked her out one time, and I called her one time. And she called the police on me. And there was 3 days later, a cop was at my house. And tell me I'm harassing her, and I'm doing this, that, and everything else. Which, none of that was true and shit. So, obviously, that was into the story of that chick. But I would say it had a lot to do with, like, why I didn't have, like, yeah, I would have probably had more girlfriends if it wasn't for that reason. I had a fear that, like, even still did to this day and everything, it still kind of scares me a little bit. Shit, if some girl that I, try to hit on, if I don't like her and everything, she might call the police on me. Because it actually happened. And even now, to this day, if it's somebody that I like and they don't, think of me the same way, they could call the cops, say I'm harassing them again, which is nuts. They could get the cops calling you just for hitting on a girl. Not even doing anything to them, just simply hitting on. Because, I understand some people take it a step further than that, but, the way the law is, it's nuts that, like, even me at 11 years old had a fucking cop at my house over, a middle school crush. It was nuts. Like, luckily enough, I have a girlfriend now that I've been with for a while. We're not, like, married or anything like that. We haven't a kid or anything. I'll probably get married someday to her. But, it's something that, like, just get around. It's not like, we don't want to. We're just not in a rush to do so. We don't got the money for it, really. It doesn't really matter as far as we're concerned. Something we'll just get around to. But, yeah, like I said, I've only had 2 serious relationships my whole entire life, other than stupid middle school bullshit. Which, like I said, was a girl, Christina, when I was 17. Dated her for about 3.5 years or so. And then I didn't date anybody for, a few years. And then I met the girl I'm with now, this girl Sarah, which, you guys might see her someday in a video, who knows. And I've been with her for 8, almost 9 years. And we have a daughter together and everything now. I haven't had problems with her. I'll be honest, I almost did break up with her a couple of times. But, it never actually happened. I love her a lot, and I love my daughter a lot. And I want to stay together as a family, even though she did do some bad stuff, which I'm not going to get into right now. And a big part of me wanted to just end it for that reason. But, I decided not to when things did get better. Not like I ever really totally forgave her for shit. Shit gets complicated. I don't know. Take this video as what you want. Take it as me just ranting and raving about shit, because I guess it kind of was that. And take it as a story, because I just felt like throwing a video on my channel because I hadn't done it in a while. And I was just thinking aloud to myself anyway. So I figured I might as well film it so I don't look like a fool, like I said. But anyway, with that said, peace out. If you enjoy watching it, hopefully I entertained you. If not, then if I pissed you off and annoyed you, most likely you didn't watch this whole thing. And if that's the case, then you know what, fuck you. But hopefully this ain't a fuck you situation and it's a thanks situation. But anyway, I don't know. Peace out.